June 14th is called to order. If you'll call the row.
Ms. Pierce? Mrs. Shephers? Mrs. Dineno?
Present.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Holton?
Here.
Mrs. Burdick?
Here.
Chairman Yam?
Here. All right, next order is approval of minutes, May 9th, Joint Marine Commission, Recreation Commission meeting. Any discussion?
I don't have any questions.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, May 10th, our regular meeting, same thing. Any
I'll make a
discussion?
motion.
Okay. All right, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Public comment. Anybody in the audience wants to make a comment about something that's not already scheduled on the agenda? Now is your opportunity. All right, seeing as how there is none, we move to new business, which is the Vero Beach Art Club's Art in the Park. Mrs. Yvonne Steer.
You could bring your entourage with you.
My entourage, yeah. My entourage. Let's see. Hi, my name is Yvonne Steer. Mayor Kramer, members of the Recreation Commission. Art in the Park is an event sponsored by the Vero Beach Art Club for its artists and artisans. These member artists contribute a portion of their commission that they pay to the art club, and the sales are to benefit the community projects of the club. We exhibit our creative work at Hummiston Park along the sidewalk area of Ocean Drive. This year there will be 10 Sundays from October through April that we will have the privilege of exhibiting in our tents. When Hummiston Park renovation was being planned several years ago, Rob Slazak ensured that the rendered sketch for the upgrading included space for our tents. We are still there, exhibiting our creations, and wish to thank the City of Vero Beach and the Recreation Department, and specifically Director Slazak and the staff, Lori Lee, for their support of our work. The Art Club is all about promoting goodwill on behalf of youth and families, and it's with enthusiasm that we provide the Recreation Department with a check for $1,000 to aid children who would otherwise be unable to attend a structured summer camp. It is with pleasure that we provide this check to Director Slazak, commissioners, and that we present this token of our appreciation to all of you.
Picture time.
Well, thank you very much.
We can have a picture. We'd appreciate it.
You can have a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, get the mayor in there.
Stand up.
Yeah, we're going to get the mayor in here too.
Why don't you all stand up so they get you in the picture? What they want.
My goodness. Summer camps. Thank you.
Wait a minute, Donna was trying to get the picture. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Jeez.
Yep. One more picture, if you would.
The actual check.
The real check.
The negotiable check.
Actual check.
Has it been signed for deposit?
No, I give you an account number to put on.
We'll give that one to Rob. Thank you.
I'm going to say a few words about that, and then I'll hand off.
Well, I just want to say, on behalf of the City of Vero Beach, I want to say a huge thank you. It's great to see so much enthusiasm for helping out the kids, and it's really important. I can tell you as a parent, you must have something for your kids to do during summer, otherwise they'll invent something that you're not going to like. I can just tell you that. But in any case, we sincerely thank you and greatly appreciate your help in helping out the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just to talk a little bit about that scholarship program. This year, so far, we have 35 children who are registered for the scholarship assistance program. I will tell you that we will probably go and utilize somewhere between $12,000 and $14,000 for the kids to be able to participate all summer long. Some of the stories that we've had are a number of the issues with the parents are everything from two parents both working, but they just maybe have 3 or 4 children and they're just trying to get by, to one-parent homes where either someone has passed away or has fallen sick, or if it's a situation where they're just the one parent now taking care of children. The other thing we've seen and I've encountered through the years is I've encountered things such as father murdering mother, passed away, of course, and father went to jail. Kids witnessed it. Aunt's taking care of the kids, and aunt needs assistance. So this was one of the things that really was the reason why we have this fund. This idea has been going on for years. We always had a mindset in the recreation department that we don't want anyone to be turned away when it comes to recreation, and this has been going on for decades. And when I took over as a department head, I wanted to make sure that continued and to get the support. And thank goodness and thank God to all of you who have helped out. We've had a lot of great support from a number of foundations, and the Art Club has been outstanding partner, friend, ally, and really can't say enough thank yous to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Again, thank you from us. And it's not only this check, but over the years, you've been very supportive
Very much.
of recreation programs and facilities. All right. New business. Well, we're still in new business. B, site plan application. Who's going to start this off?
And just to let you know, we have a number of representatives from the Indian River Rowing Club, and I believe that in the past you had approved a conceptual plan, but I think there might have been an adjustment or two that has come back before you. Tim McGarry, the planning director, is here if you have any questions for him, and I know that the rowing club would like to come up and talk to you guys about this.
All right. Let's start with them. Rowing club representatives. We'll start there.
We have our engineer here today and our director of rowing to give you the update on this item.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Wesley Mills with Mills Short and Associates, and we prepared a brief presentation for you guys to just acclimate you with the project. We've broken it into 2 phases and go through some of the items, so I'd like to do that with you. But before doing that, I'd like to turn it over to one of the representatives with the rowing club to speak a little bit more about what the rowing club has been up to and what they have going on this season.
Hi, I'm Gary Mara. I'm the director of rowing for the club. I'm also the head coach for our youth team. We, in the past year, since you guys last saw us, have had some incredible accomplishments from our close to 50 youth rowers that we have in our program at the moment. You can see just in some of the pictures we had our float in the Christmas parade was voted the best newcomers for the parade this past year, which we were particularly proud of because they put a lot of work in on that. Up in that right corner, you see the girls looking very intense as they are pulling away on the rowing machines, which you guys may have seen in the gym before, or maybe even been on. That is them right towards the end of setting 2 separate world records on the Concept 2 indoor rower. Those are tracked by Concept 2 themselves, and the group that they beat out who held the previous record was a group of over 30 women in France who had held a record for most meters rowed in 24-hour period. Uh-huh. We had a group of 10 girls, a third the number of the group that held the previous record, step up and not just break that record, but completely eclipse it. Beyond that, we had our first district championship in our program's history, our second state scholastic championship. We had 100% of our varsity girls program medal at the state championship. We saw our first out-of-state competition by competing in the regional championship and the Stotesbury National Regatta, where our girls lightweight 8 managed to finish 5th in the grand final of that race. To give that a bit of perspective, these girls were second-year rowers at most. One of them had just started earlier this year. And this was the largest high school regatta in the world that they just managed to finish 5th at. This is all under the context of the fact that they're not able to hit the water every day because of our current site, which I know you all have heard about. And as a result of that, we're on those rowing machines so often trying to make up our training that our girls managed to row, just our girls squad, not even looking at the boys, which have done their own incredible feats, including their first showing in a state final. Enough meters, or to put it in miles, which is more clear for most people, 3,184 miles on the machines alone, enough to be able to row to Cuba and back 10 times this past year. All of this time that they could have possibly been on the water trying to train in a way that is more specific to what they do, and Lord knows what we could achieve in the long term when we're able to move to this new site. Rowing is growing and growing and growing. We've got our youth team showing incredible strides. Our masters, we get new interest every day. Masters are the adult group, if y'all don't know. We're in early stages of putting together a veterans rowing program with partnership, potentially and definitely input from the Veterans Veterans Rowing and Kayak Incorporated. And we just recently got support from a teacher at Storm Grove Middle School who's going to be helping us to expand our middle school program, because we already have inroads with Gifford Middle School. And now this teacher is going to be helping to run our program and help rowing to become an official club at Storm Grove. And our goal from there is to continue to expand into as many middle schools as we can to make sure that we're serving as much of the community as possible. But our first step in that is making sure that we can get a site that is agreeable and productive and safe for all of our rowers to operate out of. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, I think everybody's probably familiar of the site location. In general, the total site area is shown or delineated in red. However, in front of you today is phase 1 of the overall project. And first what I'll do is I'll give you a briefing on what phase 1 is, and then as part of phase 1 and why we're here today is to request a waiver, and I'll speak in more detail to that. So first, phase 1 is approximately 2,300 or 23,000 square feet of the overall 1.66 acres. So just shy of half an acre, or right at half an acre. And it is on the southwest corner of the property. The proposed site plan for phase 1 is to construct the dock, as well as a storage area with boat racks and storage container for the oars as well as the shells. We include a perimeter fence around the storage area with one large access gate, and then a pedestrian access gate towards the east portion of this site. Along all fencing along or within public view will have landscape features. It will have a shrub, and as well as we're going to maintain the existing oaks within the area, which there are numerous oaks. So the plan takes into account all the existing oaks, and the proposed plan does not include removing a single oak. There are several palms, however, those will be mitigated in full compliance with the city's land development ordinance. So in green, it shows the areas where we'll have a continuous hedge and landscaping to screen the proposed fence. As part of the land development ordinance for the city, they permit along the site, they permit a 6-foot fence. However, adjacent to the roadway, there is a requirement that restricts chain link fences to 4 feet in height. So as part of our Phase 1 site plan request for security, for the overall storage equipment that's going to be within this vicinity, we really need to have a 6-foot tall fence, because a 4-foot fence anyone can jump, and it wouldn't be very secure. As part of the site plan also, we propose to have some lighting to light up the area. Right now it's very dark at nighttime, and we also plan on bringing in a water service with 1 hose bib to wash down equipment after use. So this is a picture of the type of shrubbery we plan to put along the perimeter fence. And up at the right is at one of the city parks, where there are many recreational amenities that have a chain link fence higher than the 4 feet, and they are adjacent to roadways. So we feel that our request for a variance is something that's done regularly within the city. So we're hoping for support on that.
How about other locations that may have the same kind of proposal that you do? Have you checked into those, about the size of their fence and the size of their property and how many rowers they can handle?
I have not. I don't know those exact details off the top of my head, but I believe that the code, the way it's written, is more to restrict or control commercial and residential type fences. I believe that within park and recreational spaces, I think we can go throughout the city and see that for just the functionality of certain recreational uses, more than a 4-foot high chain link fence is necessary.
Can you talk just a second about the lights?
Sure. So the lighting is right now we proposed 3 overhead lights. They'll be within the storage area, and their intent is just to provide some kind of lighting within the area. It will be some kind of security type overhead light fixture. And we found at nighttime, as you come around the corner, just under the Merrill Barber Bridge, it's just really a dark area, and we think storing stuff back behind that area would just invite problems.
When you say storage area, are you talking about proposed boat racks?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, there's also kayaks that are stored on the north side of the dog park there. Do they have lights on at night? They have a lot of kayaks there. You know,
It's part of the city marina.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's really necessary. That's all I'm saying. I'm wondering if.
I don't know. Have you gotten many complaints about it?
Not that we're aware of.
He says no. Jim says no.
Complaints about what?
The lighting.
We haven't had it yet.
On the city marina, we haven't.
Well, that's my point. I don't know that there is lights there. That's what I'm asking.
I think there is some lighting. I've seen it when I've gone through there. I don't remember specifically, though, but I do know there is some lighting there.
And the city marina is in closer proximity to the residential neighborhoods back in that area where this is shielded by you can't see a residential house from the area. So it's a little different, but I can't speak for certain if they have light. I got to imagine they do have lights. I know they have lights down like near the dock, overhead lights for when people park their cars and walk up to their boats.
Yeah.
I think there's lighting in front. I don't know about
Yeah,
the
this is
side.
there's like a big building there, and then the side of that building there's just racks and racks and racks of kayaks there.
It's on the south side.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do know there's lighting in the front.
I wasn't really thinking about the neighborhood. I was thinking about environmentally. You know, is that going to disturb the? Is there nesting things going on in that area?
No, because most for the most part it's a boat ramp with somewhat marina type use. It's pretty common at Riverside Park.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything.
Okay.
Just to give a little bit more background on some of the equipment that will be stored within the area. So I mentioned previously the storage container, which will just be temporary until the building is constructed as part of Phase 2, which we will come back through this process again with renderings and floor plans and a full site plan proposal for your review and approval, as well as we'll be working with the county or the city staff to make sure that's compliant with all technical standards for the land development ordinance. So this just illustrates what the oar racks, the boat racks, as well as the temporary storage container will look like. The boat racks are simple PT wood members that are very light duty, as you can see, very open air, unobstructed, as well as the oar racks are essentially very similar to the boat racks. Now, the proposed dock, which is included in this Phase 1 site plan approval, is a floating dock. It's adjacent. It's on the opposite side of our storage area across the roadway. We've built in safety features in compliance with federal and state regulations for crosswalks. We plan on doing some pavement markings within the street to give advance warning, as well as signs for cars that are approaching the crosswalk with the boats.
Will that dock be available to the public as well?
Yes, ma'am, I believe so, and I believe that's a requirement of the lease.
Yeah, there's no fencing, right?
No.
Okay.
So a picture of the dock. It's not your traditional wood-piered wood dock. It's very flat. It has to stay open for the shells to be able to maneuver and launch from this, as well as it's pretty suitable for paddleboarding and kayaks and things like that. So just today we've resubmitted our plans to the city, which we believe there were 3 or 4 minor comments hanging out from a technical perspective. We believe we've satisfied those. They have been resubmitted to the city, as well as we've been working with DEP for the dock permit. And those plans as well were uploaded today for DEP's review and approval. For the last 3 months, we've been working with both the city and DEP to make sure that what our proposal is fully compliant with all permitting requirements, both state and local. This is a drawing that shows the configuration of the dock, and it will have a tieback system and shows how a typical boat would be maneuvered and placed in the water.
With young men and women, there's a lot of rowers. Is that a large enough area to handle both men and women as rowers?
I believe so. I mean, maybe they'd like a little more space. I'm not sure, but I think these are the cards that were dealt. So I believe we're going to make it work with the space we have. Although I'm sure they'd love more area.
Do they have to walk across the road?
Yes.
with?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So if there's any other technical questions, I'd be happy to answer. And then also members from the Indian River Rowing Club are here to answer any operations and
What's going to replace that big ugly trailer? It was unlovely. Sorry.
The beautiful boathouse. We have equipment stored in the trailer right now that will end up being in the boathouse.
So that's
That needs
another
to
phase.
Yeah, that can't be rained on. A lot of the ergs, the rowing machines, right now our container's full of rowing machines and other equipment that cannot handle the rain. And everything that's out there on the racks would also be in the water. The oars and the boats obviously can take rain because they're in the water all the time.
So in the final iteration, are those racks still going to be there, or are they going to be in your boathouse?
The racks will remain. Our boats will move in the boathouse, and the existing Phase 1 will turn into a visiting team area. We have Boston College that comes down, and they'll be able to store their boats in a fenced-in area instead of just in the park like they have been. There'll be for other crews that come down and want to row in Vero Beach, they can come, and there'll be a place for them to house their equipment and other citizens in Vero that might have something that they could put in that area. It's always been the plan. They need an outside area for the trailer. Anything else that we have? We have to have our trailer and our launches, our motorboats right now out there.
Wes, can I get you to go back to your first?
And one other thing I'd like to mention is Phase 2. The team has been assembled, the design team, and the architect is in the process of preparing building plans, and so there is progress being made in the direction of Phase 2. It's under design.
Go back to your three-phase slide. It's maybe like the second or third. There. All right. My question is, you start storing the boats there. Are you going to have any improved parking? What are you going to do for parking for this?
Yes, one of the items that was just resubmitted today was for Phase 1, we plan on constructing 2 parking spaces, which meet the requirements of the city's land development ordinance. And although the presentation was prepared and the plans were just recently submitted this afternoon, so this plan does not have the updated parking. As Phase 1, there will be 2 parking spaces that will be along the street, and that has been approved both through Public Works and has been submitted for review and approval to Planning Department.
Okay, but it hasn't been approved.
Phase 2 will include also a significant amount of parking for the use.
Okay. Can we have Mr. McGarry now? Just a couple of comments. Go ahead. Actually,
sorry.
what I want to do is flip this and do action on the boat dock first.
I'm sorry, are you taking action now, or you're asking me questions?
No,
I got to
no.
look.
Well, I'm flipping it when we come to action, just to explain how we're going to approach it. Okay.
All right. Well, as pointed out, we're right now still reviewing this. The parking is the minimum needed. We looked at outdoor open space recreation area, knowing that that Phase 2 will take care of the parking in that area. So in the interim, dealing with events and all that will have to be carefully done. And we still have a few issues that we have to play out. As he pointed out, is a variance is needed for that, and this also has to meet our floodplain regulations. So there's some things we're still working out. Not insurmountable, though.
Can you expand on what they are?
Well, the storage will have to be elevated. You can't put it on the ground, and temporary doesn't cut it. Temporary could be for a while. Yeah. So that's going to have to be elevated slightly.
Elevated meaning fill?
Above base flood. So you would have to take that container. I mean, it adds to the cost, but I'm the floodplain manager, and I can't approve something in the floodplain like that. And the variance, it's going to be difficult to meet that. I think the bottom line is, I think pointed out, is that we really should have a change in the regulations if we want to do certain things rather than go to variance. It's very difficult to get to to meet all the legal requirements for a variance.
Okay, what are the legal requirements for that?
Well, the one thing is you can't create the handicap. So there are other alternatives to taking care of security on this. It would be more expensive. I believe you can go to a masonry fence. It's at least 5 feet high. Whether 6 feet would be able to do it. But, I mean, the point is it's very difficult to do a variance. And if you have a problem in your code, you really need to deal with the code, not give out variances willy-nilly. And just as they don't make the legal requirements. So I can tell you right now, my staff will be recommending denial of the variance. It doesn't mean it can't go through the process through Planning and Zoning Board to the council, but we follow the law that we'd recommend denial.
Okay, let's go back to my splitting so we can do the boat dock first.
Okay, no, we have no problems with the boat dock.
Okay. Anybody want to speak on that? Let's go ahead and move the boat dock along.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the boat dock.
Me neither.
Anybody in the public want to speak about the boat dock? Okay, somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the plan for the boat dock.
A second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that takes care of that one. Let's come back now to however we want the variance application.
The thing about the variance, this is a quasi-judicial nature. I mean, you're basically stating your preferences, but it has to go through a legal procedure, giving them opportunity to question, provide expert witnesses and all that. That creates a problem for staff when I'm here telling you this. I mean, you can say that we don't really want to see a 6-foot fence, but to do the variance really needs to appropriately go through the rules of procedure, giving the applicant an opportunity to do that and hearing both sides. That's all I want to point out, Mr. Chairman. I mean, you certainly can do what you want to do, but
I appreciate that. But I'm not going to shoot holes in the wall just to shoot holes. I do have a question, though. What is public access to these type of areas?
Okay, well, the public access, obviously, they have it gated, so you can't go in there, but there is, I believe, the license agreement gives them public access to use the docks, as they pointed out. Now, obviously, I assume when the rowing clubs are using, you wouldn't want to the public is probably restricted a little in that case if they're using the docks. I don't know. I don't have the license agreement, but they are required to provide to allow the public to use that dock facility.
Well, I think I remember in the discussion on this that the rowing club had.
I know.
Well, wait a minute until I finish.
Okay.
You know, the discussion on it, especially the boat dock, was that the public had access when you weren't using it. I think was the understanding. You know, so you had priority on using it.
It's just a right. We were just going to have the right of way. And, we just put our boats in, and we're not there long. We put them in, and then we move out. And then the next guy can come in behind us.
Well, you have priority. That's what I
right,
said.
that's all. Just a right of way.
I think that's the understanding, as I understand it.
I just wonder if you all have thought about another kind of security. I know with Riverside right there, you definitely are going to need some kind of security there at night.
I don't know why you can't use motion sensor lights, why there has to be light on all the time. Because I think that's intrusive in a natural environment. Just my opinion.
How you doing? I'm Todd Young. I'm the president of the club. That was the intent, is to use motion sensor lights. They might not have gotten on the plan, but that was the actual intent. So
good.
We will have that on there. So, and then as far as the fence, the intent for the fence is to protect our equipment. We have about $180,000 worth of equipment. And I've seen recently that the bridge was vandalized right next to where our boats are going to be. So that kind of worries me that if we don't have this higher fence that people are going to, you still could climb over a 6-foot fence, but it's going to keep the honest people out, basically.
Sure.
So, they painted all over the bridge, and I just hope that doesn't ever happen to our boats. That would be very disastrous for our boats if that happened. So we're just.
Yeah,
trying to
I don't
keep
know if you were
animals-
around for the original discussion, actually, when doing the boathouse on where the dog park is. But there was a discussion
Yeah, I was here. Yeah.
There was discussion about access at that time.
hmm And what kind of access do you mean?
My understanding is that you were going to secure the equipment in the boathouse,
Once we have the boathouse, yes, sir.
but the area around was open to the public in that discussion.
I don't remember that part.
Why would they want to go
Everything
back there?
around the fenced area,
Pardon me?
they're welcome.
Why would
to.
anybody want to go back there?
I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, the trouble is,
does the public
question
have
is,
access to other?
well, this is public land, really.
Right, I understand it. Does the public have access to other lease areas with the
I
city?
think they do. They have access to the dog park.
Okay, but as fenced areas like around the airport, there's a lot of
Oh,
public.
that's federal.
Federal, okay,
That's totally
Okay.
different.
okay. Great.
But they're not totally restricted. I don't know.
It's basically for the protection of the equipment to keep
No,
them
I
out.
appreciate that.
Okay,
And that's the challenge.
yeah, definitely.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, you want to address what public access is?
Good afternoon.
Hi, Wayne.
For the record, Wayne Clement, City Attorney. The lease that provides that they are in possession of this property and they're in control of it. The only exception was made for the dock that allows that the public may use the dock when the rowing folks are not using it.
Oh, okay.
But
So you don't
otherwise,
have any-
they're responsible for this property, and they are in possession of it and control of it.
So they can control who comes and goes.
Yes. In fact, it specifically says that's their duty to control access to it.
Okay, good. We needed that explanation. Anybody else, any other questions?
Just answered mine. Good. There you go. Thanks, Wayne.
Can we actually make a motion to move this forward at this point, or do we have to wait till they decide on the variance?
Actually, I think we should table it because it's subject to whatever what Mr. McGarry said. I mean, if you're going to have to come back and change regulations, et cetera.
Well, I believe, and not to put words in Mr. McGarry's mouth, but so there were 3 items that were remaining of why it's not approved yet from planning perspective. One was the temporary storage container was below the base flood elevation, and Florida Building Code requires that any habitable space be above the base flood. You can put storage, such as a garage, below the base flood, but you have to make provisions for that, which are laid out in the Florida Building Code. It talks about flood vents, engineered flood vents. So our proposed plan that we resubmitted this afternoon include those flood vents within the container. The second item is parking, which our plan did not include the 2 parking spaces, which are a requirement. Our new plan does include the parking spaces, and I do know, based on a conversation with Public Works this afternoon, that has been approved at their level. Planning still has to review it as well, and I believe that was the only items. Was there any?
I think you covered it.
So all those items have been taken care of. They're very minor, in that I don't know that there's. I guess.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, I would suggest you can go ahead and you're talking about a conceptual thing. I mean, you could state we don't want to see a 6-foot fence and add that in there. But I mean, that'll be played out through the other thing. But
Right.
you know, to delay your action, I don't think it'll really change that much. I mean, I think they gave you enough for a concept here.
Okay.
That'd be my recommendation.
Ultimately, is that hedge going to be as tall as the fence?
I believe so. I believe possibly taller, as part of the variance. Right now, the plans, the landscape hedge is called out to be in accordance with city landscaping requirements. However, possibly we could look at installing a larger hedge at the time of planting so that it will grow quicker. I don't see that's something that probably can't be worked through.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we move
I
this.
got a question first. Because if they have to come back rather than doing a variance, you have to change regulations or ordinances or whatever. You want to speak, Mr. City Manager, somebody, on how to phrase this?
Good point, Ryan.
Mr. Chairman, I think what it really comes down to is what Tim said. Conceptually, do you have any objections? The fact of the matter is, legally, they can put a 4-foot fence up. What they're saying is that they're going to request a 6-foot fence. And what Tim is saying is we would oppose the 6-foot fence as a variance, but if the planning and zoning, with the understanding of some of the presentation that you heard, that we have other 6-foot fences in other areas, if they want to change the code, which would allow that in recreational type of use, then that we'd have possibly have a different position. We don't know. We would have to see how that goes. But I think what the question here in front of you all, do you have any objection to a landscape chain link fence in this area? And does it make a difference to you if it's 4 feet or 6 feet? And obviously, you're just a recommendation. You're not making a final decision here. But this would be taken under consideration, I presume, as the process moves forward.
Does this go to Planning and Zoning Commission?
Yes, it will go to the Planning and Zoning.
Okay. Yeah, because I think really this is more in their area than ours.
And it also goes to the City Council ultimately as well. But I think what we're doing is just asking you, because you've been part of the process. It is on recreational land, and just to make sure you're aware of what's taking place on those grounds. I mean, the other thing is you could take no action at all and not do anything, just as long as you know we're going to move forward with the process and have the planning and zoning and then ultimately the city council decide how they want to resolve it. We're just giving the opportunity for the Recreation Commission to have input, since it is involved. And you have operations around there that the baseball and all that other stuff that.
Yeah, we got a lot of parking issues.
We have parking issues. Yes, sir. We heard that at City Council meeting. Mm-hmm. We understand parking. And we also understand fencing. So we're got both of those. And we understand lock gates and unlock gates.
Yeah, we've had the discussion also about the baseball field, locked and unlocked, et cetera.
We have had that, yes, sir. And we've worked through all of those things. And so I guess it really just comes down to the conceptual plan. You see what they want to do. And this, again, is phase 1, but ultimately, even under phase 2, it is going to be a restricted area. But I think that was part of the concept. For example, the dog park, it's open to the public, but they write the rules. And they tell you, if you don't abide by the rules, and I presume in rowing, one of the rules will be that you'll be part of the rowing association or the rowing activity.
But this isn't really open to the public.
Well, it is open in the fact that they cannot deny membership to anyone who wants to become a rower.
Okay.
So that's public access. Similar to if you go to the theater, they cannot deny public access. If you want to go buy your season ticket or your ticket at the theater, they can't deny you because you're Dick Yum purchasing a ticket. And most of ours, and again at the dog park, they cannot deny you access as long as you play by the rules.
Thank you. Sue, you started a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the phase 1 site plan. And
Okay. Was there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Now we go to discussion.
I have none, but Miss Reddick, I'm ready for you to take me out.
Oh, yes, on this, Judy, and I'll take you out.
Okay.
See you at 6:15.
We're going to go out on that boat.
I mean, realistically, this thing's going to get down to planning and zoning.
Sure.
So
I think we just want to show our support for it.
okay. So we are accepting phase 1.
Yeah.
I think, is that what it is, Rita?
Yes.
Or accepting the concept of phase one.
Accept the phase one site plan.
No, concept, not site plan.
Yeah, that's it. It's the concept thing.
No, because site plan has to ultimately be determined by planning and zoning and city council, right? That's just what you guys have to. Okay, with that understanding, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on.
6:15 in the morning if you're going to roll.
Oh, business.
Okay, let's go.
Tim and Wayne, thank you for coming down here. You have to educate us on an ongoing continuance. All right, business, there is none. Recreation Director's matters.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, the 4th of July, which is on a Monday, we're going to have the Family Fun and Fireworks over at Riverside Park. The activities will begin at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and run past when the fireworks go off at 9 o'clock. We have 5 bands coming out to play. In addition, we'll have food. There'll be alcohol sold, and we hope to have a nice children's area, and it should be a great time held by all. The fireworks themselves will start at 9 o'clock promptly.
Subject to rain.
Promptly. Bite your tongue.
Jeez.
That is the most stressful day in the world. The other
Stood out
thing,
in the rain with him.
always worry about the rain. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is we've had great sponsorship for that, and we really appreciate all our sponsors, Mulligan's, Treasure and Space Coast Radio, City, and the county for making it happen. And then all the support that we get from everybody else to make a difference in it.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Patty, you got anything?
I'll be talking next month.
You're not going to talk?
Are we going to have a meeting next month?
Yeah, July 12th.
Okay.
No, not necessarily.
That's what I thought.
It depends if we have anything.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk about the circus now.
Yeah.
It'll be August 4th, 5th, and 6th at St. Edward's again. Showtime each evening is 7 p.m. Our theme this year is love. So all of the songs have love or heart in the title. Kids are already working on it. It's been a lot of fun, and you'll be getting your invitations soon.
All right, look forward to it. How's your summer camp?
Good. I can tell you their numbers are up. We were worried a little bit about 2 weeks ago, but actually the numbers are above.
You're over
where we
100
thought they
now?
were going to be. Yep.
110?
If you include junior staff.
15.
Good. You're getting close.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Chairman's matters. Appreciate everybody's understanding of the vetting here because it gets complicated sometimes. That's all I have. Where do you want to start, Sue?
I have a couple things. One, I was at the dog park this morning, and there was a car parked there on the big dog side. And after I made a couple laps and I was headed for the gate, I saw the lady heading for her car, and I said, you know, you can't park here anymore. And she said, oh, everybody does it. And I said, no, actually, it's only you parking here. There's signs that say no parking. And she walked out, and then she turned back around to close the gate, and she went, oh, yeah, look at that. There's always signs here. I just didn't notice those. But anyway, the gate's not locked. You left it unlocked so that walkers could get in? Is that the idea? I thought that you were going to lock the gate. Yeah, you.
That's it. You're the only one here.
No, the city was not locking the gate. The dog park people were locking the gate. Our job was the signs and enforcement, which we are doing enforcement, and the signs are up. But the dog park people are responsible for locking and controlling their gates. Again, that's their leasehold. But they said in the meeting that they would do that.
They lock it.
They didn't do that.
They need a reminder.
The other thing she said to me was, well, I thought the parking thing wasn't going to happen because there's no money. And I said, well, there's donation envelopes right there, you know.
It's a newspaper that talks
The
about it.
other thing is I chatted another thing is I chatted up some people yesterday at the dog park, and to a person, they were willing to pay to use the dog park until such time as we had the parking paid for.
We are landlords and not tenants. Whenever we start trying to play both roles, we seem to get ourselves in a major crack. And so we would prefer not to do that. But if you take your dogs there,
Not to
I think
pay
it'd be
not
great.
to pay you, but to pay the dog park people so that they can get their.
And I think that's something that, you know, if you take your dogs there, which I know you do, then possibly you could talk, because there's supposed to be someone on the board there virtually all the time.
Yeah, I posted it on the website today. So it's certainly an option, something to kick around, you know, like they do on toll roads. You know, they charge you until the road gets paid for.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, they're saying that it's a $20,000 venture, what they're doing now. We've approved their plan. We were also told at the council meeting that that would start within 2 weeks, so we'll have to wait and see. Not that everything said in the council meeting is accurate, but it sometimes pretty close.
And there's folks I can lead you to if you need for that, like Phil Reed or John Wester or any of these folks.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say was, if we're not going to be here in July, Pirate Fest is going to happen in July at Royal Palm Point Park.
And Riverside Park.
And Riverside Park.
Royal Palm Point area.
Yeah. The part I'm involved in is we're going to have an art show at Royal Palm Point. So there's going to be Royal Rum Point,
something
whatever,
like that.
at the fountain area. So starting at noon, there'll be rum and beer and food and stuff. And then right outside of that, in the first parking area, will be the art show. And then beyond that will be entertainment. So that's coming up too. That's
on July 30th.
Right.
That's
The art show's on the 30th. All right. Thank you.
All right, Judy.
I think we should send condolences to Save Abel's family. If we could do one maybe from the Rec Commission. If we could send a note from the Rec Commission. If that's okay.
That's fine. Go ahead and put it together.
Okay. And don't forget the Blue Angels are coming.
Hopefully.
Yeah, as of right now they are.
Right. We're not sure
But
that
still,
yet.
there is a air show.
Yeah, there's definitely an air
Yes,
show. The
so
air
don't
show
forget
is definitely on.
We're waiting on
Eric
the
came to our staff meeting today, and that's still out there.
They're going to bring all Blue Angels, part of the Blue Angels.
That's all still, there's still
They haven't
uncertainty
heard,
there.
really.
No, the air show is still going
The air
on,
show
though,
is still
and
on.
there's plenty of
Yeah.
activity for people to enjoy.
And I'll get with you and Patty about the breakfast about halfway point.
Great. We're happy to have that again. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Bobby?
I just have a question. I was reading in the lifeguard report that they were having trouble with the trash cans on the beach, that they were overflowing. Was that addressed? Do you
I think
know?
it was. Yeah.
Yes, it is being addressed as we speak. We'll probably be recommending that we do upgrade on our beach cleanup. Right now, we do 5-day pickup, and we'll probably go to a 7-day pickup, which means it's going to be extra money, but that's. And then, and we maintain the parks, and what we'll have to do is see what the pricing is versus us doing, because we used to do beaches before, but the holidays just seem to be overpowering us right now. All the numbers are up. The lifeguards are correct, especially on Memorial Day. We're a little concerned about the 4th of July and, those type of things, but it just seems like activity is up. And whoever's baking pizzas now are doing extremely well because there's more pizza boxes. We did meet with a young man and his mother who's very interested in this, and he's going to contact that group that does the recycling down on Curb.
Keep Indian River Beautiful.
Keep Indian River County Beautiful. Contact them about seeing if we can put something up on our boardwalks for recycling up there. The problem is that we've tried them down on the beaches before, I've been told. People just use them as garbage cans. We are going to put some more garbage containers out there, and we're going to change the mesh size that's inside those containers because like cigarette butts and stuff like that go through. So we'll make it a little stronger, but we need to have it so when rainfall comes that we can do it. The question came up, and the young man had some pictures of these big barrels out on the beaches and some beaches he saw. Our problem is emptying those during turtle season. We can't put anything down on the beach. It's motorized except for that ATV that goes down, and it's very limited where they can go. So we have built our trash containers where they swivel, where they can come by and dump them. And so we'll probably put some more of those trash containers down there. The other little issue we have is in the unincorporated area, it's not mandatory garbage pickup. We seem to be a place where people bring their household garbage if they have picnics or whatever at a park. And so we've had to even increase the size of the dumpster at JC Park, I believe it was, because of...
Yep, JC.
And you could find the bags in there that were not really picnic bags.
Nice.
So we have those little challenges that were coming about, but this has been the worst season so far as the garbage on the beach. It's been the best season so far as the numbers of the people.
Well, there's more and more people in town. The traffic is still terrible.
It is, and you can go by any, especially the oceanside parks. I mean, the playground at Hummelson, I don't know where all these kids are coming from, but I was there Saturday night for the concert, and I mean, it was just full of kids. And again, I bet I saw a dozen people carrying pizza boxes by. So he's doing very well down on that end. And then I live up by JC Beach, and Saturdays and Sundays, I have not seen a Saturday or Sunday yet that more than half, if not all, of those pavilions are taken. And people come in there like at 7 o'clock in the morning and start putting their balloons up.
Yeah, more than half are not city people.
Every bit of 60% are not city people.
At least, yeah. All right, Greg, what do you have?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Jim. Weeks ago, we received the new recycling cans. They're larger and what you can put in there. But the city did not approve about the same size can for trash.
Now, we don't deliver trash cans.
That's just keep
So we just
right?
continue to keep using the same ones we've been using for years.
Yeah, Greg, only thing we do is pick up garbage, and then the recycling bin that you're talking about is really a function of a contractor with the county. We pay into that, but it's and so they're the ones that provide the bins. The city does not provide any bins.
Because the county does have two separate units, one color and one another. But
and they have three different sizes.
Just for the county.
Put the big one out tonight, Wednesday. That's when I'm putting mine out. I mean, tonight for tomorrow.
Right.
The big blue one.
Yeah, basically what Jim is saying is that there's one set of garbage cans that you have in the city. Those are the recyclables. The
Plastic
garbage that you
paper.
put out at the curb is
Those are
just
your
like
own
any
cans.
other time
That's
that you've
your
done.
own.
It's your
That's
garbage
your own
cans.
cans.
Yeah, our rules did not change.
we didn't
The
change like
recycling changed, and I think it's to the betterment. I mean, this single stream recycling is really great. I have twice as much recycling materials as I do garbage anymore. So,
But they'd like to see us get up to 79%, but we're not there yet.
no, that's going to be very difficult. I mean, it's
It is. Nationally, it's about 16%.
16.
16% nationally, but at least in Indian River County, we're up to about 35% at this point.
In one city I was in, we had the recycling single stream like this, and the company that did it for us gave coupons away. They would weigh the amount, and so it was an incentive, and we went almost to 40% at one time. So it was. But I think that company went bankrupt over that, but it was a good plan.
Gotcha.
All right, discussion on.
I had one more thing. I forgot. The Pirate Festival, they're doing a fundraiser there for VBLA. So they're hoping to collect enough money. I think they're calling them Buccaneers. They're hoping everybody that goes in gives them $1 to help them buy another ATV that hauls people. What? Four-wheel? What? ATV, is that the wrong word?
No. Okay, that's a new one. The ATV is kind of a new one. We have submitted an ATV in for our budget for next year, and we're going to talk about that. That'll be one of the things we talk about. But we know
Eric was at our meeting yesterday, and that's what they were talking about.
Interesting. And we have a ATV that was given to us from the power plant, and we think that we still are working with Sharkbait with their ATV. So, okay.
They probably asked Eric, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And that's what he said. And he's talking like $10,000 to get one with the truck in the back.
Yes, yeah, we will definitely want to make sure that it's something that can carry people for emergencies, etc. So, okay.
Maybe they'll go from the Pirate Fest to the dog park.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well,
for a drive.
But that's just to let you guys know that we do have an ATV in the budget for next year.
When do you start the budget discussion in July?
The second week in July. The Finance Commission is going to meet on the 11th, and we're going to meet the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Okay. I start with department directors tomorrow, and we're about $370,000 out, and that does not include any money to cover the employees' OPEB thing. And one of the instructions, I was given two instructions. One is don't increase taxes. The other is to try to cover the OPEB. If I try to cover the OPEB, I'm about $670,000 out, which I'm not sure we could cover that. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to do it. But we'll be going through, and ATVs and those type of things will be what we'll be discussing.
Is the maintenance person still in your budget, the new maintenance?
We have a part-time maintenance person starting in 22nd.
Okay.
That's something that we had from last year. It's a part-time.
Yeah, but
we did not put in for now with a flat budget, we did not put in for a full-time maintenance person.
Okay. Going back to the July meeting, unless we have something that comes up, I see no reason to have a meeting.
Sounds good to me.
And August may be the same way.
So we'll meet again in August.
It's just, there's no reason to create a meeting to have 5 minutes of discussion, as far as I'm concerned. So it's all subject to, you will be advised, if we have one. Right, Rita? You can take, everybody but Greg has email. Okay, so somehow.
He's got mail.
Huh?
He's got a phone, he's got mail. It's not
Okay.
email.
All right. So you can tell and advise him one way or the other. Okay, thank you. We're adjourned.